Gratitude brings me joy. Friends bring me joy. Great conversations bring me joy. A good bottle of red wine. I'm really into Meiomi. That brings me joy.
Ooh,
Beach
ooh,
brings me joy. Black
I love
people progressing brings me a lot of joy. Just every day we read something in social media about somebody getting promoted or doing something
that.
wonderful. So those things bring me joy, but probably gratitude more than anything. Oh my God.
Welcome to Black Businesses Matter, a podcast about why Black businesses matter and the benefits of collaborating and advocating for Black businesses to drive impact. Each episode, we will cover legacy, hope, Black joy, funding sources, cultural shifts, equity, and so much more. We will provide inspiration and action while spreading some joy to a thriving community of Black business owners and leading thought leaders. Black Business Matters podcast is produced by the L3 Agency, a culturally sensitive influencer marketing and communications firm in Chicago, where relationships are our currency, passion is our profit maker, and people are our bottom line. I'm Larvetta Lofton, your host and founder of the L3 Agency. Welcome to another episode of Black Businesses Matter podcast. I'm so excited about our next guest, Ms. Pepper Miller. I'm really excited to bring her on because she is a market researcher, and that is one of the things that we love to do at our agency is really being able to dig deep and really understand what consumers, customers, and constituents are really wanting for that organization or that brand to really get them to be able to be more culturally sensitive. And that's who we are as an agency, is being a culturally sensitive agency. And we're able to do that by the research that we get to do and the insights and the data that comes out of these rich conversations and guided discussions. And you guys get to meet Pepper Miller, who is a market researcher, and she's been doing it for 3 decades. She is a thought leader in this multicultural marketing space. And I've known her for a little over 2 decades. We met while I was working for E. Morris Communications. We've also even featured her at our signature event, Leading Ladies International, for her success in engaging Black America. She has multiple books on Black culture and Black marketing. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And she's helped brands such as Coca-Cola, AARP, Unilever, and Walgreens, just to name a few. I want to say I'm super geek for this interview because we are able to discuss how brands need to engage one of the most influential audiences and how we must collaborate more. So I know after this interview with Pepper Miller, you're going to want to get her books. I know it. So I'm going to start with this. Tell me, Pepper, what do you see as a trend in the space of Black culture from brands?
I've been very busy as a result of the Black Lives Matter and George Floyd impact. Brands have been coming to me with the I didn't know, which is 3 words I've been hearing since I've been working in this space of Black consumer insights is I didn't know. Once many brands heard my Black Insights presentation, or maybe they read something or spoke to a colleague in depth. But that has peaked now more with the Black Lives Matter and George Floyd protests. Just hearing more and more and more people say, I didn't know. It's been crazy.
Based on the I don't know, because I do think, I do have I call them my militant friends, and I am sensitive, which is why we really strive ourselves on being culturally sensitive, because there are people that just don't know. I mean, and I think that, do you honestly believe that to be true? That,
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't think that it's fair. And I remember Pepper, client of ours, colleague of ours in the energy space, we had a very good guided discussion with the community in Chicago. And he just was in the other room listening in. And he came in, he says, hey, Larvette, I just want to share with you, And this is real talk. I mean, Zach he said, I didn't know that there were educated Black people in Bronzeville that would spend money to put their kids in private schools. But I will say this, Pepper, I didn't flinch. I literally was like, okay, because at least he was honest to
Yep.
say what he really thought versus pretending and doing the and then you go back to your office and business as usual. But he left there and said, I was clueless. I had no idea. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not tapped in to this side or this community to know that I know based on the news, right? And that's sometimes people's posts on communities in various areas. So I recognize. And so as we move into this space, and I love your book, Black Still Matters. I mean, I have it and I told you, and I love it because I love the fact that you really talk through the power of the various generations within Black culture. So baby boomers, Gen X. And that's what I love, that there's so many. And I want to know, since you did that book, from that point from 2012 to now, knowing that you had so much great information about baby boomers and how it was a missed audience and and you talk from a Gen X. Do you still think that's still a valuable segment even today?
Absolutely. I think the millennials have probably surpassed the baby boomers by now in terms of size, but we're still the next. If we're not the largest, we're still the second largest segment. And the boomers, baby boomers, run the gamut of being older, older, and then having some that are younger in their 50s or, well, maybe 60s. I think the 50s are the Gen X. But the boomers have the wisdom, is particularly now, it's so important to listen to the boomers. I am a boomer, and I just looking at where we are today, as I mentioned before, how we have legislation to or not have our history being taught. I mean, I was around when we couldn't vote. My father taught at a historically Black college in Albany, Georgia in the 60s during segregation and civil rights. And I was born and raised in Chicago, but we moved to Albany where my father was teaching. My brother and I went to a great lab school on the campus. It was really great. And Black people were very much unified. But I remember the governor using the N word and reassuring concerned citizens, white citizens, that Black people will not get into the university. The Black people were protesting to get into the state university. And he used the N word. And I was like about 6 or 7 years old. I think that was one of the things that changed me as well, that left an indelible mark on my heart because I knew he was someone important. But anyway, the point is that we have this history. We boomers have this history. We can help connect the dots of what's happening because it's starting to, unfortunately, in some cases, repeat itself in a negative way. We boomers have the work experience, even the agency business. The young people come in with this instant gratification mindset. And I love the fact that young people want to do things differently and maybe faster, but we still talk about being efficient, doing it quickly, doing it differently, but still making sure that we are efficient and responsible. So I think we need both. The woman that helps me with my work is a millennial, and she lives in Orvieto, Italy. She's a Black woman that was born and raised in Memphis and in Texas, and she's been living in Orvieto, Italy for 10 years. And she's been working with me for 10 years. She has a Black consciousness. I have never met her in person. We do everything by phone or Zoom, but we learn from each other. She talks about things from her perspective and her lens, and I talk from my perspective and my lens. And often it's the same. It's just seeing things in a more contemporary way versus where I came from. But in many ways, there's a lot of similarities, and we learn from each other. And she helps me with my writing. She's my strategist. She does all of my PowerPoint presentations and my proposals. They are wonderful, wonderful proposals, and they have that freshness about them. So I think when we talk about collaborating, it needs to be more of that boomers and young people as well. But yeah, we still have value. We definitely still have value. And the younger people know it. And those of us, part of our value is recognizing the value that the young people bring together and what we could do together. It's not ignoring them or Xing them out. That is not the way to go.
I think it's so important to have that because we talk about, and I want to ask you this too, is that, one of areas that we speak is we're diverse and diverse in thought, right? We can be all Black women, but where we go to get our hair done is different. Where we go to bank is different. And what we're looking for sometimes are different experience. And I don't think that we have been given, I want to talk to you about to be able to be diverse in thought. That while this is an amazing Black woman in marketing, my thought about X is different from, her thought, and that we can all be from an ethnic group, right? One and the same, but the way that we process and think is different. But there where you talked about the need to collaborate, because my thought is one way, but to your point, we both care or compassionate, and those fundamental core values are still similar, but how we go about it is very different. And I say to you, Pepper, are you seeing more opportunities for there to be diversity or that being diverse in thought?
Absolutely, there are more opportunities to be diverse in thought. And I think it's been building and happening anyway as we look at the millennial segment and the Gen Z segment, just wondering how they are different. But the George Floyd impact has brought on all of us to look at differences and celebrate them more and think about how we can come together more. Different does not mean deficient. It's an opportunity. So as we look at the differences with Black people, we undoubtedly look at differences with other segments and ourselves, and how do we make this all work better? And I think it has, I mean, George Floyd, his impact has been more than just on brands and society looking at the challenges of Black people. It is about this whole notion of coming together and collaborating. So, yes, Marvetta, there's huge opportunities for people to do more of that. And the attention to DE&I has blown up as well, which is prompting us to have these collaborations. And I do think it was a result of the George Floyd's murder.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you in a lot of ways because I felt like there were so many meetings, and I'm speaking from that place, but also when Kamala got in office as a person who went to a Black college, I got tired of explaining where I went to school, right? I went to Clark,
Mm.
and people, okay, what's that, right? And so it was refreshing to be able to finally get general market to accept an education from an HBCU. I mean, me as a valuable education. And I do think that that just opened up doors finally that, I think for so many people that went to HBCUs were just like, now I got to explain to you. And I think, you get tired. Like, okay, Google still runs. I mean, whether wherever you go, I mean, Google is available for those from 2 to 100. So the same choices that we have to be able to do that is so important. If you are joining us and listening in on this amazing episode, you can connect to Pepper Miller on Twitter at Pepper Miller. She is also on LinkedIn at Pepper Miller, as well as Facebook. On IG, she is Pepper Miller One. So if you want to connect and want to learn more about the work that she's doing, and really, she's been a major force in making, I think, changes in the way that we do marketing to connect to Black America and our culture. And so if that is something that is of interest to you, whether you have a work for a company right now, or perhaps you want to just learn more, she has books. So there's books. Black Still Matters in Marketing. And she's got a new one coming out fall of 2022. So please make sure that you connect. And it's called Let Me Explain Black Again. Yeah, because I do think we have to explain again. Like we've got to go back and be like, no, we're the most influential segment, right? Again, right? Again. So yeah, we got to talk about it. So,
Well, and there's people, it's the I didn't knows
right.
that are out there. And there's so many people that, just like your colleague that confessed to you about Black people living in Bronzeville,
Right.
and how they're sending their children to, there's so many people who believe in the negative stereotypes. They bought into that. And it's more of them than not. While what's Black about it and Black Still Matters in Marketing, I'm still explaining Black again. It's not meant to be punitive, to point the finger and punish people. It is about me taking these foundations, these fundamentals of Black people and explaining them, particularly in the era of George Floyd, Trump, and COVID, been these three disruptors that has changed how we look at everything, marketing and everything, and to talk to the reach more of the I didn't knows. So it's that purpose is the reason why I was like, oh, I need to write another book.
And
Things
I'm,
have changed again. I need to write another book.
but here's the thing though, Pepper, I'm glad you're writing because that's part of the reason why we have to have more and more stories being told about us. And I feel like sometimes we tend to get the same story. Nothing against Oprah, I love all of them. But there's so many Oprah stories. There's so many Tyler Perry stories have been there. So we have to continue to dig and research. And that's what I think you get to do is like, hey guys, I got to bring it back to the forefront. And I think that's to me, it's like we have to continue to be curious. And you started the interview with that. And I, of someone who loves to just be curious too. And I think just being able to be that, I think if the world were more curious, maybe, then I think people would be more well rounded. But I think, and you could tell me this, I feel more humans are more reactive than they are proactive.
Yeah, they are. And when you don't understand something, you are reactive. I mean, there are more people who are caring and want to do the right thing today. The media has a big part of making us more reactive and social media, but you're probably right. More people are reactive than not, especially those that are not of our culture, that don't understand our history.
And, I recently, this is a while ago, but, in the tech space, because I love technology, I'm actually a nerd and love technology and the software. And we are wildly shared on social media. We're not owning softwares and platforms, but we're on it and we're not being able to maximize it. And so we use these platforms. I love this for empowerment to be able to expose when there is injustices. It's just making sure that we're able to your point, take those injustice and turn it into a proactive approach so that we can own, some of these opportunities to tell our narratives because we let media tell our narratives and we're not able to manage that. And I know that there's, a number. I know P. Diddy with Revolt TV, he was really shaping that, but it's been challenging. And one of our former guests, she said, we got to get to a point where they understand that Black joy is a currency and we have to stop feeding the Black pain and use it. But it's been something that has been done for so long that you can talk, pain all day and oppression. But when there's joy, we're not at the forefront. We're not winning in that. Do you see that too?
So somebody else mentioned that recently, and that needs to continue to be a conversation about Black joy being a currency. That is so true. Oh my God, I love that. That's powerful.
It is. And when Kyla said it, it just got chills. So if you are listening, check out that episode because it's really good. I mean, she's a marketer. Kyla Jones, she's at Rap Agency, and she was on a few weeks ago. And the name of the episode, Pepper, is Black Joy is our currency. So when you get a chance, if you want to
Oh
take
my God, I love that.
and connect with her.
That's a powerful insight. Because one of the things that I do is I do talk about our challenges, our history, because I think it's important. And I talk about how we're still navigating these broken systems because people look at a Larvetta Lofton, a Barack Obama, a Oprah Winfrey, a Kyla Jones, and they see Black progress. So we are progressing, but we're not thriving because we're still navigating, Black, brown, and poor people are still navigating these broken systems of education, healthcare, housing, finance, but we're still navigating those systems that are broken to us. But essentially, we still are a joyous people. We still know how to make fun. We're resilient and resourceful, not only in terms of how we live our lives and how we make do with what we have, but in terms of how we express joy. I absolutely love that. And there's an opportunity to show more of that in communications. It's the positive realism that the Black marketing industry talks about a lot, and it's still relevant. That positive realism is this Black joy. And I don't think clients are tapping into that enough. That is huge.
And that's one of the sweet spots that we like to talk about, right? Positive impact. Who's making a great, an impact and using us, in our influencer marketing space and really using them, people that speak about this and really want to celebrate that. And so I do think that there is a lot of currency in it if we're able to get brands to see that we're not all oppressed and that we are all operating and aligning ourselves, and we are happy and we are joyful and we are energetic and our families are amazing. We got crazy family members too, so really having that moment. So I think that the opportunities for, companies to really see that now, who really take hold of it, I think will win long term. And I think that's the beauty of it. And so I want to see more of that. And again, Pepper, I do think that your role and how you've been able to bring data into places where the I don't knows, as you mentioned, can really have an opportunity to see it, right? And so now we get to see it. I think a lot of data is, numbers, but data is also just, right, responses, quotes, conversations, and I think, do you see more qualitative? Are you still seeing the same efforts on both sides, qualitative and quantitative data?
So, from a research standpoint, there has not in my lifetime, and I probably am correct by using the word never, there's just not enough of designated Black research, period. Clients don't do it. And when I say designated, just exclusively, we're going to research the Black consumer market. So that's one hurdle that we overcome. The second hurdle is there's been more attention to quantitative than qualitative. People are very interested in big data, the numbers, as you talked about, because with quantitative, it is about measuring. Again, not enough Black people in the sample or designated research. So there has been less interest in qualitative, which is the area where I play most of the time. We do quantitative too. I usually will hire a company like an Ipsos or a GFK to help me with my quantitative projects. But there's just never enough research done with Black people. With focus groups, they will put two Black people in with maybe a total of six and feel that they have their designated audience. One of the things that I do is I've been doing it for 20 years is every single group I ask how many of you have been in a Black group, in a focus group, And then hands go up. And then how many of you have been in a Black group? And I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 20 years. No hands go up, or maybe one in every single group that I do, every single group that I do. It's been that. So and so what's happening now is they're moving from focus groups to AI, artificial intelligence.
Intelligent.
So it's both AI, automated and artificial. And so I feel like that's a big step that the industry is skipping because we haven't done enough designated research. And what happens with artificial and automated intelligence is the person's bias that is designing the programs is in there. And you're still not getting the rich insights and understanding of Black culture because these biases are built into the program because we don't have enough Black people in market research, working in the industry, helping to design the questionnaires or the tools, helping people understand and recruit. That you need Black recruiters to recruit people for focus groups and to participate in research. You need Black people to help to design the study, the questionnaire, because the language has to be relevant. You need Black, brown, and more Black and brown people, period. More people of color, the collective group of people, Black, brown, Asian, Hispanic people, to participate in research. The research industry is virtually very, very white and not diverse at all. So, and they are really behind in the marketing and advertising industry. So I worry about this AI and this automated and artificial intelligence that's coming into the research industry without paying enough attention to the different segments of people that are out there, Black and brown people that are out there. We haven't done enough research with them, period, to understand them. And now we're moving away from that. One brand, packaged goods brand, does not even do focus groups anymore. I don't want to name them, but they're a large package group, consumer package group company, and they don't believe in focus groups. So I hate that because they haven't done any focus groups and had conversations, to your point, Larvetta, with had enough conversations with Black people, and now we're getting away from it. So we are fighting for that. I am a executive sponsor of the Over Index, which is a networking organization of Black researchers and strategists. And the purpose is to help us network with each other, also bring in people into the market research industry, but also to change some of those dynamics of the industry and to help them understand the importance of relevant tools and relevant people in the industry to talk to the new America today, which is predominantly Black and brown, where it's getting to be Black and
Yeah,
brown. It's not predominantly Black and brown, but it's getting
it's
there.
getting.
So that's kind of where we are in the research industry. It's not good, but I do see more research companies reaching out, having me on podcasts, and really trying to do something a little different about with regards to the instruments that they use for recruiting and interviewing the multicultural segments.
Oh my gosh, I could talk to you for hours, literally. This is what I love. And just to learn and uncover and unpack so that, more people can connect to the right audience and connect to this most influential segment, Black people. And so Black Businesses Matter is all about that and really being able to create a space where we can collaborate with D&I practitioners, marketing researchers, you name it, faith leaders. And we've been doing that because we want to ensure that people understand that really Black businesses matter. And Pepper just summed it up. I mean, it matters when you're able to connect with these various, business leaders who are able to connect with other businesses to bring them to the table. So you just summed it up. And I'm grateful to just be here and just listen and hear what's really happening. And as we close, we ask every guest this, Pepper, because it is important. Much like I said earlier, is what brings you joy? We believe we have to ask that question so that people understand that we too have joy. So what brings you joy?
Gratitude brings me joy. Being able to have this opportunity to speak with you and to share my thoughts and feelings and experiences around the work that I do, that brings me joy. My friends bring me joy. Great conversations bring me joy. A good bottle of red wine. I'm really into Meiomi. That brings me joy. A
Ooh.
beach
Ooh.
brings me joy. I'm looking forward to going to Puerto Vallarta for a month to work on my book. I have some friends there and I stayed with
Okay.
them a week, the colleague that worked with me on my CNN report. And I'm going back and I got an apartment because I got to get this book done because my publisher is sweating me. But Black people progressing brings me a lot of joy. Just every day we read something in social media about somebody getting promoted or doing something
Yes.
wonderful or
Yes.
something we didn't know. I didn't know the chief strategy officer at Leo Burnett was Black. I didn't know that. I knew that the president of Walgreens is a Black woman. So those things bring me joy, but probably gratitude more than anything. Oh my God.
I totally feel you on that.
Gratitude. Whew.
I know, right? It does. It is such a blessing to have it. And I am so grateful, Pepper, that you could spend some time with us on another episode of Black Businesses Matter. I thank you all for tuning in to another episode. Again, we want to say this. If you like this episode, share it. Share it with a friend. Share it with someone you think could get value out of it, and let people know that Black businesses matter. Also, if you want to really join in our movement, we have merchandise, we have sweatshirts, we have t-shirts, we have mugs, so that we can let people know that we stand for it. And we want to make sure that people understand that there are thriving businesses that are Black businesses and that they do matter. Thank you so much, Pepper, for being a guest on Black Businesses Matter. Thank you for listening. And we hope that you will continue to listen and subscribe to more episodes.
Absolutely. I can't wait oh my God, to listen to more of your episodes as well. I think you're doing a wonderful job. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this week on Black Businesses Matter podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen so you will never miss a show. You can also follow us on social media at the L3 Agency and at Larvetta Speaks. If you love the show, leave a rating so that we can continue to bring you impactful episodes. You can also take the pledge and order our merch at our website at thell3agency.com. THEL3agency.com. Thanks for listening and see you next week.